There is a beautiful panel towards the beginning of Image Comics' Transformers series by Daniel Warren Johnson. In this panel, we see Optimus Prime standing tall, holding his arms out and allowing himself to fully embrace the naturalistic wonder Earth has to offer.
What beauty,
He says as his body stands still. This is a massive metal alien robot in a forest filled with life. Flowers bloom, the grass sways, frogs croak, and the wind softly whistles as it grazes across his extraterrestrial body. He goes to finish his thought,
it's unbelievable.
but before the final syllable leaves his mouth, we hear a loud crunch. Optimus looks down, and we see his foot planted firmly across the carcass of a deer.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Optimus Prime is a figure trapped in a cycle of endless violence. No matter where he lay his feet, whether it be on the metallically lined tectonic plates of Cybertron or the soft and lush soils of Earth, war and death seem to follow him. For one brief moment, he had the opportunity to forget that. For just a few seconds, Optimus Prime was reminded that the world he exists in can still exhibit beauty, only for him to be quickly snapped back to a reality of violence. Violence caused by his own seemingly careless actions. But it is that sense of empathy and sorrow that make Optimus Prime a fearlessly heroic leader. There is so much to love about Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers. The breakneck pacing, the wholesome characters, the beautifully stenciled designs, and the vibrant coloring make this a phenomenal book. But this is the panel that made me love the book. And it's moments like this that make me love superheroes. Care, compassion, and equity. That's what heroism is all about. Spider-Man is awesome. But the reason I love Spider-Man is because he made the decision to use his powers to help others. Spider-Man spends every single day saving people and putting his life on the line because he cares about other people. He doesn't have to do any of that. He chooses to. Daredevil got his powers because he saw a man walking in harm's way. He made the split-second decision to put his own life at risk in order to save somebody else. Superman is a beacon of hope because he views everyone else as equals. He is an alien god walking among men, but despite his indestructible nature, he would much rather solve problems with his words rather than his fists. The reason heroes are so iconic is because they stand up for the little guy. They put themselves in harm's way, and they risk their lives for people they don't even know. That is the essence of superhero comics. So it always confused me as to why the comic book community was such a divided place. For example, in 2017 there was a movement called ComicsGate, in which a bunch of comic creators in the industry argued that, quote, diversity initiatives were ruining comics. These are creators who have been writing and drawing comic book characters for a very long time. But when these primarily white male creators saw a rise of women, people of color, and LGBTQ folk in the industry, they thought the decline of comic sales was because of these diversity initiatives. These creators' response was one of hate and bigotry. Online threats and harassment campaigns were employed by ComicsGate members in order to spread a narrative that centered around deplatforming minority groups and advocating for the separation of politics from comics. But superhero comics are defined by their empathy. Superheroes don't care about who you are or what you've done. They view your life as precious and worth saving. And when you look at the agenda for something like ComicsGate, it fails to align in any way with what superhero stories are about. Superheroes are inspiring. They uplift people. They save people. And they don't discriminate when they do it. But it seems like every other day some comic book fan is complaining online about forced diversity in comics. And it makes me wonder, are these people even comic book fans to begin with? How can you read a Spider-Man comic and watch Peter Parker continuously put his life on the line to save others, but then simultaneously you spend your free time and your own energy bringing other people down? It just doesn't make sense. Because if you were actually a fan of comics and you looked up to these heroes, your worldview would be one of compassion, empathy, and understanding. I think the reason I'm making this video is because the world is a really scary place right now. I've seen countless videos of law-abiding residents being separated from their families because all of a sudden they were deemed illegal. I've seen countless videos of people screaming and suffering in places like Gaza. I know that policy is taking away women's bodily autonomy, and I also know that policy is making it harder for LGBTQ folk to exist in the first place. It feels like there's a collective attack on so many different groups of people, and it blows my mind when I see that the people supporting these attacks are the same people who love superhero comics. So next time you see something horrific online and you go to argue in a comment section about why it's justified, ask yourself one simple question. Is this something Spider-Man would support? That's the video. Hope you guys have enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.